peace, restore our Gloria to live forever. Bring down the dark regime and know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order.
Welcome back, everybody. I am Dessa, and I will be here for the second series as well. But instead of Panini, we do have a new face for ourselves. Panini took a vacation to get ready for the next week's game, so Kanze is gonna Kanze is gonna be joining. me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Conce here
yeah,
at your
not Kanze,
service.
Bench.
That's
I got
great.
bamboozled. No, not again. But yeah, it is gonna be Zench, and I'm very glad to have you as a partner for today. But how are you doing, man? How's been my
I'm
day?
doing great, man, and kind of excited to cast this game because I think these two teams are pretty close, much like the previous game, and has some similarities. Where SPX maybe is more explosive in a similar sense, like what was it again that played the previous game? Was it
Previous
uh
game was Blazing Pandas versus
Blazing
Interstellar.
Palace versus, yeah, exactly. Um, so I'm excited to see some explosive gameplay out of them, and then more controlled out of the NLAN squad.
Definitely so, and it is, I feel like, something too important to note before we do kick things off that both of these are going to, or both of the games in this second series will be replay streams. So that essentially just means that instead of seeing draft unfold live, we do have draft links for ourselves. So we will see the draft before we head into game, which should be on your screen now. But unfortunately, the pick order and such won't be shown. But what so far, looking at this draft, everything seems to be pretty standard, except outside the Belveth, which we don't see that often.
Yeah, I think the first thing you want to look at is just bans generally. Just banning weight farming junglers that are able to like slow the games down and play a more controlled style makes a lot of sense. Also, removing a champion that's decent at making plays and peeling for their allies like Thresh makes also sense. And then also removing some explosiveness out of SPX, but they find another angle to well weave in that kind of playstyle, going for the Belwith this time, which kind of makes sense against Ivern, trying to get into the jungle and having a Braum that you can easily stack up the procs off. But it's kind of weird that we're going for the Saya into Ezreal. We've seen this before. I think it was Young who managed to pick Saya into Ezreal, and losing priority in these lanes are not so great, right? Because especially if you want the Belwef to be invading and ruining Iron's game plan, then you kind of have to play a bit forward. But SPX might have stumbled a bit on R3 here, but it will be interesting whether they're able to well, do something about this Ivern. NLAN also picking up Shen and Ziggs. Ziggs also making pretty much sense, given that the SPX struggles against range here, but Belveth is an interesting champion that can easily collapse on enemies, but Shen also protecting a potential collapse from Belveth. It's gonna be interesting. It's two completely different styles, and yeah, it's an exciting draft to me at least.
And that's what we like to see, right? We like to see the different sort of sauces, the different spices that teams can bring in. And we're seeing two very different sort of recipes on our screen at the moment as well. And Belveth is a champion that has seen a bit of a rise in solo queue, at least for the most recent patch. First time seeing it in this season, or in this split, sorry, in the SLE, and should be interested to see what it can bring to the table. The side of NLAN go for a bit more of a global presence with the Shen ulti and that stand united, and once we hit level 6, this game could get very, very spicy.
Starting off, both sides mostly looking to just 5-point here. Kimmich Mentor was possibly looking for something with the Saya and Belveth, but it doesn't really seem like the Braum was on that call. So just splitting up here eventually. As the Belveth is not trying to get his jungle warded, I would assume, having his mid lane and AD carry covering the potential sides where they can ward, just to make sure that it's not spotted on his first clear, which would make sense in this case if he's trying to get into the Ivern's jungle.
Definitely. So Ivern is a champion that you can pretty easily invade, and a champion that I think we have seen quite a lot today on the Rift, and this is going to be another Ivern game. Something we've seen quite a lot in SLE overall. Our teams have adapted themselves into the Ivern meta, so to speak, and a couple of things that, in my opinion, might be a little bit difficult for the side of Silver Phoenix to deal with is gonna be the long range on the set of NLAN. Ziggs and Ezreal have a lot of poke within their kit, as well as having that long range. And you are looking at things like a Belveth, you're looking at things like a Xayah, who notoriously don't have a lot of range to play with. Yes, Belveth does have a couple of dashes in his inventory to sort of counteract that most of the time, but if you can land a couple of Ziggs bombs early on into a fight, a couple of Ezreal Qs, a couple of those mystic shots, then might be a little bit difficult for the side of Silver Phoenix to deal with.
Yeah, definitely. And as we saw in the draft, the side of SPX actually went to ban the Malphite and the Rumble, which kind of makes sense, or didn't necessarily make all that much sense before this patch, but with the Renekton losing some MR in the early game for MR, those matchups can really destroy his potential in the early game. So good bans coming out of SPX trying to make their top laner successful in this game. As we can see, the Ivern is pathing down to bot lane, whilst the Belveth is looking to possibly get something done on the top side, which does make sense to some extent. Trying to get this Renekton ahead is something a lot of teams would try to do. And Ivern obviously trying to cover his bot lane. That's a clear win condition for the team.
Definitely. So if Renekton falls behind, it can be a little bit tough to sort of incorporate into your composition. We have seen it before. Renekton is a champion that is sort of pretty lane reliant to get himself on ahead. A little bit of training down towards the both sides. The Grand Entrance is gonna hit on up. I play Ulysses has made his way over here on the Ivern, but Alligator is finding himself a very good support buy. He decided to make sure he can peel off Terraforming. He's enough to burn that cleanse in order to get himself out, but just a little bit of HP trade, some summoners thrown out on both sides, and a gank in the top lane is going to amount to absolutely nothing, but a good side, or a good side to see both teams willing to brawl it early on out.
Yeah. What I will say though is, at least on the top side, you're able to set up a freeze, and Shanks is able to get a bit of tempo on the Ivern, who's essentially wasting a bit of time on bot side here. It's really difficult for them to actually find a play unless the Rakan W is massive, right? Ivern isn't notorious for having great success on ganking, but Belveth can easily loop back to top lane, and that's what he's trying to do, but Avers has it warded this time around, and will probably get out of this one scot-free.
I mean, it's just really good awareness coming out from Avers. He knew, like you said it yourself, Kimmich had the wave warded, so Shanks was gonna play for on the top side and had the tempo for it at least the first or the next minute or the next 30 seconds. So sets up the ward, make sure he's absolutely fine because the wave being quite big on the top lane as well means that if Avers were to fall on this wave, just burnt his TP to get back to lane. Without TP, losing that wave could have potentially been so detrimental that it would have been extremely hard to bounce back from. So good to see from Avers that he has that sort of awareness in the game to spot those out. And so far we did see a play on the opposite side of the map, Terraforming Cleanse, Lord Light the heal, and Allegatia's heal, as well as the Ignite on Vayne M did end up getting burned. So flashes for actually all four laners are still up, but no combat summoners for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think the only notable thing right now is that Syndra has kept her TP, managing to shove in the Ziggs early. Obviously, Ziggs having some mana issues in the early game, trying to just make his sustain really poor here. And if Belveth can then look to capitalize on mid lane with like a Syndra setup with the Syndra ulti, that's an like obvious place for Belveth to try to get the lead in this game. Is what I would be looking at really here for SPX.
Definitely so, and so far a lot slower of an early game than we saw in our earlier series today. Obviously, we saw quite an explosive 2 games on Interstellar side, and as we have a trade here on the top side, hold that thought, Avers is gonna find himself in a little bit of trouble. Kimmich Mental is gonna be able to force out the flashback back away, but I play you listen has made his way over. Root Collar does need to be careful on this Ivern. You are not the tankiest person in the world, and that Root Collar landing is gonna amount to absolutely nothing. Kimmich Mental could look for a potential flash stun forward, but is gonna think better of it, as you can deny it with the Shen W and deny those auto attacks. So both junglers spending a lot of time on this top side. So far, Shanks could look for a potential crab to take away from I Play You Listen, but no, nothing but damage traded onto this top side.
Yeah, Kimmich Mental showing some aggressive tendencies, realizing that Ivern can't do anything against him, especially at level 5, as he can just break the shield with his Empower W. What's really interesting about this game, as you mentioned, is that both Braum and Ivern has been picked up, each one for each team, and these are stable champions now in SLE, I'd say, at least for the start of the season, as we're looking for a trade in bot lane, but won't really become anything. As Braum is a champion that is able to enable his teammates, it's not necessarily the most aggressive laner, I'd say. So Shanks now still looking into the top side. Ivan spotting him out on the ward, but Shanks knows it's warded, so I don't know if he would actually try to go for this if Syndra is actually able to move. But obviously having to respect Shen ulti here if he's looking to take this blue buff.
Shanks, my friend, this could be a little bit too aggressive. Tatsugiri is just gonna walk on over and one-shot the level 5 Belveth, and Shanks overplaying his hand a little bit there means that I Play You Listen is gonna be able to have his blue buff on saved. Gonna toss a thumbs up over to his mid laner. Tatsugiri walks over back to lane. The plate is gonna be given up to General DM. I don't actually think he got that plate, so it is gonna be an all-out lose-lose on the side of NLAN. Out of SPX, sorry, as we have a trade here on the bot side. Crucial Barrage doing quite a bit of damage, but it's gonna be nothing but a bit of a cooldown trade for both sides.
As the NLAN bot lane is looking aggressively here, probably just trying to get this wave in, but Allegation is looking forward.
He does have that level 6 still available. Featherstorm can be used here. Grand Entrance goes through the shield as well. Lord Lighty had like half of his health bar shielded there. Stand United, everything used to keep that Rakan alive. Support lives do matter for the side of NLAN, and a huge play coming up for them.
As both mid laners also trading really heavily, but none of them expending the flash here, thinking, well, I can kill this guy, but eventually none of them die. As Renekton will get a crash and potentially a plate on the top side, but obviously a really well communicated and great kill from the side of NLAN with, I would say, has a better scaling team. Obviously coming out of this early game with the lead feels great.
Definitely. So a dragon is gonna be secured for the side of NLAN, and Shanks is gonna be able to respond with a herald over towards that top side, and that herald should be a big value target for the side of Silver Phoenix, and he's gonna get his evolve or formation, whatever the hell you wanna call it, off of that herald as well, which means you can finally dash over those terrains, which should free up your jungle care as well by quite a bit.
Yeah. As both the mid laners also opting for Leandris, but I play you listen, getting caught out a bit here by Waynam, but won't find the blue buff of Belveth, and as it's not up, but trying
Yeah,
to find advantages in the jungle despite playing in a quite into a quite aggressive Belveth here.
found himself a couple of early camps there. A gank on the mid lane. Tatsuki gets ulted, but he's just gonna be able to walk on out. General Demo not having enough damage quite yet to take out that Ziggs with one ultimate. No outplay button quite yet, but Kimmich Mental is pushing very aggressively on forward Demolish in his inventory as well. It might just be looking to proxy this next wave, but I play you listen is on an aggressive warpath. Shanks is gonna find himself a 2v1 in the topside jungle as well. The call of the week comes through. That's gonna be Iceland. I play you listen, taken out. Shanks another reset for himself and 2 kills over to the side of NLAN, and the SPX finally respond back, but General DMO is gonna get taken out, and as soon as you think that NLAN is asleep, they strike on back a 1-for-1 for both teams.
Yeah, a little bit of greedy pathing there coming out of Demo, also not using his flash to get out of the ulti of Rakan. Though obviously SPX finding a kill onto the Syndra from their top side feels great when this is essentially what your entire draft is signalizing. You want to play into this Ivern aggressively as we get the trade in bot lane. When I'm getting the ulti in,
Beautiful stop there on the grand entrance. Lord Light is gonna get taken out a little bit too aggressive for him, and this is why the Braum is such a good pick. You can cancel out so many of those engaged supports and so many of those abilities. Kimmich Michael with the Dominus over towards the top side is gonna walk over under the tower. Does need to be a little bit dangerous, careful here. Avers with the flash taunt coming through does mean that he will find the solo Bolo in the top lane.
as we're moving now into the mid game, what are we looking really at? I think we are at least looking for SPX, probably trying to get this next Herald that's coming up. Though Lord Lighty is on mid lane, and Demo uses his flash to get out. So Shanks is looking for a fight here.
Demo burns his flash very early on there. Shanks looking for a hit back, but this isn't a fight you necessarily want to be taking Vayne and finally giving them the back up they need. Lord Lighty gets tagged there, could look for a stun, but the Rakan might be in trouble here. General Demo ultimate does got as well. Stand United coming on. Shen is finally here. Shanks is gonna get taken out. Nothing for him. Allegatia is looking for a kill back onto I Play You Listen. The Ivern will not get taken out. Isha is still looking. Blade Collar is gonna be available. Lord Lighty still lives on. General DMO gets taken out the back end of things. Blade Collar coming through as well is gonna mean the Featherstorm is gonna get used. Allegatia is gonna be in trouble up under the tower. Lord Lighty. Somehow this Rakan keeps living. Someone tell me how this is legal.
It's a massive fight for SPX, though Kimmich meant to look for a dive on top lane.
Oh my god, the outplay coming through from Avers. This is a Shen connoisseur. You step on him like that, he will step on you.
Yeah, this game obviously really frustrating for SPX right now. Going for the play despite Shen ult being up, realizing it mid-fight when going into mid lane, and trying to fight this out, but Demo starts focusing on Tatsugiri as he gets caught out by terraforming, and suddenly the fight is not even close, as Allegatia even gets knocked up by the Lord Lightly W.
Good grand entrance coming through at the back end of that fight. I play you listen in the mid lane. General DMO, no flash for him. Root Blade Caller Root Caller, sorry, does land, but it's gonna get nothing done in the mid lane. Blue buff is gonna be picked up for Shanks, trying to make his way over to that dragon as soon as he can. Gonna be up in 8 seconds, and a Cloud Drake in our hands. This time around, the Spectator client is not gonna be lying, and it is indeed a Cloud Drake.
Yeah, SPX being on it first, but Ivern obviously has his ulti. And what is Ivern like? What Ivern is really great at is taking space with his ultimate. So I'll see whether he will actually just go for the steal or if he will try to fight this. As it's a
Oh,
steal from Ziggs.
Tatsugiri with the steal. It's not even gonna be I play you listen as the oceans bring themselves to life. And Ocean Soul for us today in terraforming as well will need to make his way out. Hearthstone should help along with that. Lord Lighty is gonna rise up and engage the play core. It's not gonna be available. There's the Feather Storm. The Arcane Shift goes in vain. M is gonna be looking for a 2v1 as his AD carry got taken out, but it's gonna be Allegacia who falls in this 2v2.
Generally, good play of Terraforming there, realizing that they have no idea of how strong he is, just fighting them up, right? Which is good, right? When you have a Rakan that can easily get the Braum off you, and you can essentially just free hit the Saya and keep your range until you can just E in and finish off the kill. Uh, really good awareness of Terraforming in Lord Light here, realizing that they're stronger in the fight, not backing down for it.
And a huge bomb coming out from Tatsugiri, but I did and a sad croc in that top lane as Kimmich Mental is just not having a good game for himself. Does have that Gore Drinker finished up, but the Shen is too damn strong. Avers doing a fantastic job up in that top lane. 503 on the Shen so far and having a wonderful game for himself. And it is actually NLAN who are up by about 1,500 gold, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like they are the ones who sort of haven't had the tempo to really do anything.
Yeah, as NLAN also has focused a lot more on the Drakes, whilst SPX have picked up some more playthings, I believe. But obviously a way favored game state here for NLAN is what we should be really looking at, and with the gold lead as well, feels really bad for SPX to play into, as this Belveth generally wants to be a bit accelerated to get ahead early and snowball games with like Herald and stuff, as they're looking for the Herald and it doesn't seem to be a response from the Ivern, though they're trying to get a push in mid to potentially look for something.
DMO having to burn his flash there on the Syndrome. Meanwhile, a tier 1 picked up in the bot lane. First tower of the game going down. Shanks is gonna pick up the Herald like you said earlier for Silver Field. He's gonna be able to get his transformation after that as well. Could look for a topside gank potentially, but where do you expect this Herald power to go over to, as Avers is gonna be walking up a little bit too aggressive with their Shanks. Will find himself onto that top lane, but the taunt coming through and could just put to pop the Herald right here, right now, maybe take out this tower. But do you think he's gonna be potentially looking for a Herald here, or do you think he's gonna be looking for a Herald somewhere else?
I hope that he's not gonna use it on top side. I would way rather prefer it to be on mid there. Though he's
Ooh.
getting engaged on by Lord Lighty as he roamed off the top lane, and Shanks is getting low as Avers is close to killing him. But Shanks will get away as Kimmich Mental finds himself in a precarious situation. Will try to drop the Dominus as Lord Lighty gets cancelled on his W as they might look for a kill onto him.
That taunt flash not connecting. Avers trying to hit back. They did find a kill onto the Shanks. That means they get a kill back there. And unfortunately, the Belveth does fall. Taunt flash being very close for Avers to picking this off up. Another kill, but does not connect this time around. The Silver Phoenix end up not being able to hit back in that play for themselves. And Terraforming is the secret farmer. He has been the one who does have most of the gold for NLAN. And if we could actually take a look at the gold quickly as well, I do want to see how much of a difference it is in that bot lane. And there is no difference whatsoever as it is dead even. But in the mid lane, it is going towards NLAN by about 2,000.
Yeah, Allegacia keeping up well in farm here relative to the game time. Whilst Terraforming has been a bit more focused on the team play, also potentially losing out in some of these trades in bot side, as Shanks will be looking for mid lane, probably for a Herald play, I would assume, before the Drake. And it wouldn't make sense to try to open up the map a bit more here for the Belveth, given that they lost the bot tower already. It really limits her areas to play through.
Definitely. So Rift Herald in the mid lane will take out that tier 1 of NLAN. And we'll go for a little sneaky flanker down towards the bot side. Reverse Shanks is gonna look for the engage. I will play you listen. Is gonna find himself in stand united now. Is gonna keep the Iron live. A big knockup coming through. And Vayne Emily doing so much in this fight. And it's gonna be rude coming through. Tatsugiri is unstoppable. Vayne Emily is gonna take it very early. And he's popping that. It's gonna be the heal coming through, keeping himself alive. Dominant now pop by Twitch mental TP down here. Made his way over. Terraforming is just doing so much damage. Aver's dominating on this gen, and this side of NLAN cannot be stopped. Terraforming on that arcane shift forwards. Aver's taunt forwards. They're just going forward. Zoom, zoom, zoom on through. And Shanks is gonna be looked on next. Terraforming trying to hit these Qs. The Mystic shot will not land, and it is gonna be NLAN who take the fight.
Yeah, Kimmich Pentel finding a pretty cool TP flank right there, but not giving enough time for his teammates to come and match the play, as he just gets ignited and completely popped. As a bit greedy back here coming out of Shanks, as he almost also gets caught out, as the NLAN squad is completely wiping this team fight.
And land take it for themselves. An Ocean Dragon is gonna be picked up here by Lord Lighty and the gang, and it'll be interesting to see if they can end up securing that soul. Ocean Soul will be the name of the game, and only one dragon away from that as well on the side of Enlam means that it should be a win con they can play towards 5 minutes until that happens. But Tatsugiri is gonna be in a less than comfortable position. Shanks making his way over the TP coming. Hold on now. Wait a second, but the knockup is gonna cancel the teleport, and the satchel will make. Ooh, that was very close, but a 1k gold shutdown over to DMO is not what you wanna see.
Yeah, definitely big for the Syndra. If there's any way you're actually, as the ulti from Ezreal comes in, but
Oh
great
my.
block from Waynam. If you're looking for anyone to carry this game later on and deal with the range that NLAN really has, you need the one shot and the, well, pretty insane damage that late full item Syndra can pull out, as he will pick up the full Shadow Flame and another, needless to say, large rod of this play.
Big shutdown coming through for the side of Silver Phoenix. And like you said, a couple of items in the inventory of General DMO is gonna mean that he is gonna be the one they look towards for this carry. Allegatia slowly on working his way towards the second item as well, and it is gonna be Terraforming, who is already finished up with his second item. And not only that, did end up getting the upgrade as well, which means the Manamune now turns into the Maramuna, which does mean that it is gonna be big damage coming through out of this Ezreal.
Obviously, also getting the Magi stacks of the Sigs really massive, as the Sigs could have just taken this game by storm if he was able to fully stack it.
Yeah, definitely. So, and so far we are seeing no Dark Seal on either of those mid laners. There's no confidence in this game, but we are seeing NLAN grouping up towards this top side. Is gonna be the swiftness popped here. Grand entrance is not gonna find any value, and the quickness not gonna find any value either, as it is gonna be Enlan who, when we can play up towards the top side, Baron is gonna be started by Lord Light and just trying to poke his jungler a little bit, you know, seeing and giving him a little friendly tap on the shoulder. Looking for mid lane now. Allegation might be in trouble. Arcane shift forward to give Lord Lighty that extra range. True shot barrage as well. Might have to pop the shadow blade collar here as well as the feather storm flash out, but that flash is so damn late that it's not even gonna matter, and Allegatia uses everything to still die.
As the side of NLAN is actually looking to potentially go for the Baron here, or a play on top side. If they kill the General Demo here, it would be a massive play for them.
can't tell whether that was good feed from Tatsugiri or just General DMO pulling the plug a little bit too early, but now we're seeing General DMO with the TP attempt away, and the bombs are gonna hit. The damage is gonna come through, not in. That's a little bit late off a stopwatch, but Lord Lighty is gonna pick himself up that one. Now Avers on the bot lane 1v1 with Kimmich Mental. Dominus is not available quite yet, so Kimmich Mental has to just hold out for a couple more seconds here. It can't, but is it gonna be enough, as you cannot 1v1 the Shen in the side lane? Flash out, flash forward. Image Mental is gonna get taken out. Avers is gonna be godlike. Another fight on the top lane. Shanks gets taken out. Everybody's dying left, right, and center. No one gets to live. This game is a bloodbath for both teams.
Yeah, and at this point it's not really the Croc looking to play with his base damages, as Avers also looking for Allegatia here, but Allegatia will pick up Lord Lighty, but Terraforming will find him instead. As the blue side NLAN will pick up this Baron here. Unfortunately that the Lord Lightly doesn't get away and keep his Baron buff, but obviously still a great play for them.
And it's been such an interesting game. Tatsugiri and both General DMO being up in the top lane, seeing those sticker situation, try to TP on out, not working for either of them. But I gotta respect the effort. I gotta respect the grind and the hustle that it takes to pull something like that off. Now, finally, the Medjai's picked up here for Tatsugiri, 8 stacks on that, so does need to be careful not to try to not lose out on those, and that's a lot of damage coming through, and I don't think I've ever seen Daisy half health Ivern before.
As we now can see the situation that happens if Ivern secures early dragons. If they can play for the for the soul, they can also just look to take objectives elsewhere if they don't want to fight. But being this far ahead means they will look for the fight, as Lord Lightly finds his way onto Vayne and Shanks flashes away. As the TP comes in from Kimmich Mental, a bit far from his teammate, one might say, but will just slice and dice out of there.
The scatter was so big there to disengage the entire team. Now Shanks is gonna look for an engager. He's gonna fly in, he's gonna fly back on out. What is going on? The plant gets popped, everybody's flying left, right, and center. Featherstorm is gonna come out, don't wait for it being used to fight the Allegatia. He's looking for so much damage here. Avers is just looking to kill Kimmich Mental. Now in the middle of absolutely everybody is gonna get taken down. Avers just not being able to be killed. The triple kill for Avers. The Shen is popping off. The TP forward as General DMO should have the scatter to get himself out of this one, but still I value the attempt, I value the triumph coming out from the side of NLAN, and Avers just does not die.
Yeah, as they will pick up the soul as well. Whilst it's not the best soul, it's definitely meaningful. And in my eyes, this is a really tough game to get back into, as Shen is just completely dominating the side lane against Renekton. Demo falling behind 2 levels against the Sigs. The Sigs also stacking back his measures back up, with him not even... I don't know exactly how close he is to the Rabadons, but if SPX is trying to get back into this game, they will need some nasty picks and a lot of shutdowns.
Definitely. So we've already seen one of the shutdowns go over to General DMO earlier in this game, got that 1000 gold off of Tatsugiri, and another shutdown that, if it goes his way, could prove to be very instrumental in their leap forward is Avers. Carrying a 1k shutdown goal for himself is, if General DMO can pick that up, is going to be huge for the side of Silver Phoenix. Currently down by about 5,000 gold, but a bunch of these items are starting to come through. General Demo should have that hat in base right now. The Rabadons ends up coming through, and that is gonna be a big damage spike.
And the shielding is also becoming a bit of a problem for the SPX squad, as Saya actually does have access to anti-shielding items. I don't know exactly what's it called, the lethality item that you may go. Server's Fang, yeah, which Saya is able to build, and I'm pretty sure we've seen it before, at least in a show match. Though Allegatia going for the Lord Dominix instead, just trying to fight it purely front to back, which in this game state doesn't really feel realistic to me. Though SPX will have to try to claw their way back into this game, as Lord Light is looking to bully Allegatia out of mid lane. as Sigs and Shen now pushing in the sides, but the side of NLAN doesn't really have anything to play for at the current moment, but obviously just strangling SPX of any gold and any opportunities for a good play is essential for how you want to close this game out.
Slowly but surely being the anaconda around Silver Phoenix's neck, and here comes the engaged Grand Entrance. It's so does the Quake in general. Demo just gets absolutely blown up. Avers with the Stand United is gonna get himself access to that backline. Shanks is gonna be in trouble. Grand Entrance is gonna get dodged out now. Shanks booted up, sees speed up, taunt comes through as well, and two more people dead for the side of Silver Phoenix with Zig should go to finish up this tower. Satchel comes through. Inhib as well should go down. Could just look for the Nexus here. Could just look for the end of the game. Allegatia, no Feather Storm, no Blade Color available. Huge Mental does have that coming, but it should not be enough. 4 strong, 5 strong for the side of NLAN at the moment, looking to swiftly end this game number 1 in 30 minutes. Can they get rid of the way Huge Mental Flash Forward is going to be trying to survive all of this damage coming through, but it's not going to be enough. One Nexus Tower, 2 Nexus Towers, Walls, and Ace coming through for the side of NLAN and SPX. Silver Phoenix just get absolutely wiped out.
NLAN having a very good showing in this game 1. Very few mistakes, to be completely honest, and Avers putting a clinic in the top lane, using his spacing and W really well to remove any pressure that Renekton can really bring into that matchup. And also the bot side realizing that they're playing around the Shen, and the Shen communicating well on dives with the Rakan, whether to go in or not, and getting out of the early game with a team that scales way better, in my book at least, and securing this game in a pretty convincing fashion, I'd say. Whilst the game took 30 minutes, these comps doesn't necessarily have an easy way of ending really quickly, because obviously the 10 or the champs themselves doesn't really allow it. Those 6 obviously being able to take some towers here and there. As we get a pretty convincing win out of NLAN, definitely would have to see some sort of adaptation out of the SPX squad, but one could say that just blue side is really broken if the blue side team just B1s Ivern.
Definitely so, and we're gonna have to see any adaptations that do end up coming through. And for me, at least, it was the duo of Avers and Terraforming absolutely popping off in that game number 1. And on that Shen and on that Ezreal, it will be interesting to see if they end up banning away that Shen potentially being too difficult to deal with for the side of Silver Phoenix. The communication being excellent on NLAN to pull that off. Avers having one hell of a game for himself and being godlike as well, doing so many good plays, so many good Stand Uniteds coming through, saving so many boys in the homies. And it will be interesting to see what happens next, as we will be shortly heading on into this game number 2. We're going to take a little bit of a break before we do, but while we are on our break, you can go get you can go get your drinks, you can go use the toilet breaks and get your snacks, and we're going to be right back.
hop in. Brand new game, just hopped in. But here we are, NLAN getting a really convincing game here in game one. As I had some previous comments on the draft of SPX not really being cohesive to what the Belveth and their junglers playstyle should be, as I would really want to see a more cohesive strategy coming out of SPX as NLAN completely swept them in the previous game.
Definitely. So it did seem a little bit one-sided for the side of NLAN. Granted, there were some decent opportunities, some good fights for the side of Silver Phoenix, but overall, as game pacing goes, NLAN was or did seem to be favored for the most of that. And it'll be interesting to see what they can pull off in game number two. Potentially ban away the Ziggs, potentially ban away the Shen, and adapt at least a little bit. But as we are gonna take a look at the draft now. So far, what are your thoughts looking at this? I see a Galio on my screen. I see a couple of new bans actually coming through as well, but the Ivern won't be seeing game number two.
Yeah, the Iron will be taken away, SPX possibly just signalizing that they don't really favor the champion, as they also ban out the Ezreal, a pretty stable and uh, pretty strong AD carry in this current meta. Though NLAN will get their Talia and will lock it in into the Jarvan, and a lot of junglers I think have like a pretty uh, good perception that Talia is good into Jarvan, which makes sense, though the Jarvan has been relatively overpowered in the previous patches. So it will be interesting whether to see if Shanks is able to just completely ignore the Talia or if that will be a problem for them. Though, as I actually see that Enland picked Talia into mid lane and picked the Poppy up instantly, which in my eyes doesn't necessarily look right, but we've seen Young do this as well, where they pick Poppy on 2, trying to flex it eventually to support, which can make sense if you're trying to avoid something like a Rakan, which would make sense for SPX to look for here. But as SPX banned Rakan, it doesn't necessarily give me too much of like, wow, this Poppy pick was incredibly well coordinated around. Though we will see that the bot lane picks up Saya for Lucian and Lucian Karma versus Saya Seraphine, is it? Or is it Saya Galio potentially? Not entirely sure. Though once again we can see NLAN going with a bit more synergizing team comp, whilst SPX is trying yet again with a more explosive one, but in this case they at least have secured themselves a more scaling one. So in total of the draft, I'd just say that SPX is playing a team comp where they can just press one R button and try to go forward. Though picking up the Saya again doesn't necessarily, that really likes to kite back, doesn't necessarily make it a great pick for them here. But generally, NLAN picking up the Renekton in top lane, SPX picking Ornn, who's been a great counter to it. It's gonna be interesting to see who comes out winning in this one, as I would say that both teams have their own ways of playing the game, and yeah, I can't really say too much about how this game will go. I'd say that it's pretty even.
Definitely. So, on a couple of champions that we don't tend to see too often. Galio, especially a champion that I would have to go quite far back to remember it was last played, and it'll be interesting to see how they end up pulling it off, as well as the Lucian not being picked up too often. It does get picked, did get picked, I believe, in one of the games beforehand, but that's, as far as I can remember, being the only game. Tatsuga is going to find himself with a bit of early first strike gold, a good pickup for him, +5, I think I saw on his screen, so, a very big dub for him, as well as a couple of tier stacks, but like you said, it'll be interesting to see how this sort of Poppy goes together with the rest of the coming out of Endland, but it'll be interesting to see as well on the side of Silver Phoenix, not having too much damage, with having only the Zaya as the main damage threat, how they're gonna be able to pull this off.
Yeah, Poppy being a notorious like answer to the Jarvan. Though we get a trade in topside Avers, getting a pretty decent trade there onto Kimmich Mental, also getting to stack up his Fury early in this lane. Could spell disaster here in top lane. Though Tatsugiri and Demo in a pretty boring matchup, I'd say. Though I play a listen now, going for an invade on the bot side, potentially looking for a red, but won't go for it, or he will. He actually will, as he saw that Shanks uses Might on the red buff, as he will just take it away and fight him early here.
Interesting play coming through. Shanks is gonna get knocked up against the wall, stunned up as well, and I play Ulyss and is gonna get himself away with a little bit of a steal there. Is gonna be up by a couple of CS, and so far we are seeing some aggressive jungling coming through. An early recall coming out of Shanks means he's gonna head back over to his top side, and all of that came from the wards for the side of NLAN. You can see how much vision they have over down towards that bot side jungle and knew exactly where Shanks was that entire time. So good proactive play coming out of NLAN.
Yeah, as Poppy is a champion that would fall behind in tempo against the Jarvan, but the Jarvan just running straight top here, trying to get onto the Renekton. As the Renekton flashes away, but this might still be a kill here, as
Oh.
Shanks completely misses his flash, and it's not that great of a play in top lane here. Evers just being able to slice and dice out of there, just completely a waste of time here for the Jarvan, as this will be a early game to remember for Shanks.
Yeah, that's you're seeing on your screen the exact reason why you like QE flash or EQ flash instead of flash EQ, just because you can react to it a lot in a lot less time. But Shanks is still level 2. He is not having a good time for himself and getting already pushed out of his own jungle. Tatsugiri making his way over as well, a 2v1 in the top side for Shanks, and this is just so difficult to play for the Jarvan here. There's not much you can do when you don't really have prio in any of these lanes, and we'll just need to see if he can find himself a way back onto this game, but is gonna be able to get away with the grab. Shanks now is looking to be pushed into a wall. I play Listen is gonna be making that a 1v1 instead of a 2v1. That General Demo is gonna make his way over this Galio. Might have yourself some early value here. I play Listen is gonna take my first blood over to the Jarvan, and somehow above all that, Shanks is the one who picks up first blood.
For some reason, Poppy also staying around, thinking that it's potentially a play for him. Though the Galio roaming down or upwards before Renekton gets to respond. Obviously a great play for Jarvan, getting him a bit back in the game here. As Jarvan will be looking to try to steal away these Raptors or look for a mid gank. As he's pinging onto Galio, as Galio has a great lane gank setup. As they will get the taunt onto Tatsugiri here, but Tatsugiri playing it safe enough and gets away. As Shanks might be in a bit of trouble. The Q flash coming in from Tatsugiri with the Q boulder.
Shanks is gonna fall there. He's gonna find himself a first blood in the earlier play, but this time around is gonna be the one who gets killed instead of getting those kills. And a good flash forward from I play you listen on the Poppy means that he's gonna find himself an early kill onto this game. Already making his way over to that ninja tubby called armor in his inventory with the bot lane prio. He's gonna start this Drake up as well. Shanks does have that smite over in his inventory, so might be able to make his way on over. Instead, he's gonna look for mid lane. Tatsugiri, no flash, no TP, nothing up. And the flash forward with the top is gonna get taken out, and the Beaver's wall comes as well. I'm a little bit lost, and Tatsugiri is just gonna make his way on up. While in the flip side, NLAN is gonna be looking for the Drake, picking themselves up first Drake of the game.
Yeah, and it seems to be the only consistent part about NLAN's gameplay right here, picking up dragons early, and Avers now getting ulted in top lane, but it doesn't really seem like this is a play for the Ornn to go for, as Avers will be really close to hit his ulti here, possibly off this cannon, to be completely honest. As Avers ult is, and
So
Yes, it does not
Oh,
really.
he does.
Commission Mantle should fall down here. Not
Really?
respecting the level 6 out of the Renekton.
Mm, definitely so. Good job from Avers there to come out with the Dominus right on time. And Shanks looking for a little bit of a bot lane play here, but Terraforming does have his flash and cleanse both up. Now I play Ulysses has found Shanks over at the bot side river. Two separate fights going on. Vayne is gonna be poked out a little bit. Shanks in trouble up next. Is gonna get very, very low on HP here. Big wave coming through for the side of NLAN. Really need to pick this up on Silver Phoenix if you want to get all that XP, all that gold. But Tatsugiri looking aggressive there and does not have the Weaver's Wall to be able to help his bot lane here. But General DMO does have that crash, does have that ultimate over on his side. So if they do make a play, you could very quickly see a Galio over on the bot side. But everything does seem to have sort of dissipated now. Both teams have run back into their own corners, and it seems like they are both happy with what they got.
I don't know what to say, to be honest. It's a really interesting early game coming out of Shanks and a bit of over eagerness on the top side, as well as not the best of plans in the mid lane, leading to a lot of mistakes and well, capitalization of mistakes for the NLAN squad. As Shanks will once again look for a proactive play, but will not find it. Just going for the Skull Crab here instead. As he's looking for mid lane, though Tatsugiri is not aware of this, unless he...
Shanks is on level 5 though, but is going to pull this off flag. Enrek does hit now. Play Ulysses is going to be around on the Poppy, but not going to help out his mid laner on time, as it's going to be NLAN who end up falling. Silver Phoenix pick themselves back. I'm not entirely sure if Kimchi got that craft off, but Avers is going to be chunking out the Orn quite a lot there in that top lane. The knock-up does come through, which will mean that Avers is going to find some damage onto himself as well. But a potential dive, depending on how they choose to play this on the side of N, and with I play Ulysses being on the top side.
just
Oh, but
respectful
really
play out of Kimish Mental here, just backing off, realizing that the Poppy should probably be on the top side. As Shanks will try to go and match him here on the walls, being a level up despite how things have gone so far. Though he will instead just run into river, thinking that they might have started the Herald. As I play Ulysses is now on the flank, and Kimish Mental with no flash, and Shanks also
Oh, it's
now
going to be knockback.
ulting onto Tatsugiri, but Demo might be in a bad situation now.
Shanks is gonna be lucky now. He's gonna be 1 HP. Has to run away. Avers has been over as well. Lord Light looking for the root. Anti-Clinic Mental. He's gonna be so stuck in the middle of 4 people. Nothing you can do. Nowhere you can go. It is an all-out brawl between both of these teams. Plate's gonna be picked up for the side of NLAN, but nothing more, as they're gonna be the team that's up by 2,000 gold at nearly 10 minutes into this game.
As Kimish Mental realizes that Orn does indeed have a headbutt, but there's no pulverize, as he just completely runs into the squad of NLAN and gives his life away. But Shanks possibly still looking to contest this Herald play, and as Lord Light is actually staying around just to cover, which is great awareness from him, not realizing that he shouldn't be leaving the Poppy alone to take this, and now taking the back as the dragon is 25 seconds from spawning, as Avers gets played in top lane, and with TP advantage now for the side of NLAN, it's very likely that they will try to fight for this Drake.
Definitely could do, and this Drake being the second Drake of the game as well. If NLAN can get it, it will continue the Drake stacking into their favor, and with Chemtech already being taken out of play, it could be a very good Drake as well on the cards, depending on, or a very good soul on the cards, depending on which soul it is gonna be. And Avers is getting a little bit chunked down in towards that up in towards the top lane, sorry, and Kimmich Mental not having TP, but Avers does have a TP of his own. If he can get this recall in on time, and if there's a fight on the bot side, this Renekton could be showing his face down there. Lord Light is stepping up a little bit too aggressively down towards this bot side, but Shanks doesn't want to punish that. The Cataclysm was not available at the time, so couldn't really do anything there. Avers is going to opt in for a recall instead. He's going to take a fight over towards the top side, but the Bramble Vest and Kimmich Mental's inventory is doing so much in this fight, and especially up against the Renekton. Dominus is going to be popped here. Avers falling very, very low. Cold Forge God is going to come out. Avers is going to get the stun off on Kimmich Mental. The cancel comes through, flashes from both top laners now, and this is getting so spicy. Blade Caller and Feathers of Use down in that bot lane. Encore is going to be able to do I Play Listen. Need to be a little bit careful here. Terraforming does have no mana as well, no resource to play with. Shanks over here as well, trying to cover his bot lane as much as he can. The side of Silver Phoenix need to just get the hell out of here. They have no health bars, no mana to play around with. The bot ultimate going a little bit wide there. TP coming through as well. That's going to be Avers on that TP.
Oh, here comes the Galio ulti.
That's going to be Cataclysm coming through as well. Galio ultimate coming through. This dive is going to be so aggressive coming out from the side of NLN. Now Silver Phoenix is going to be the one underfoot. General DMO seeing what he can do under this tower. Try to live for as long as he can. Lord Light 1 HP. I Play You Listen 1 HP. General DMO with the stopwatch is going to be able to buy himself a little bit more time, but Avers with the damage at the back end of that dive, so many low health bars on the side of NLAN, but everybody lives, and that was so well played from the side of NLAN.
Yeah, and out of nowhere we get probably the cleanest dive that we will see in SLE this split, as NLAN completely outplays and plays the aggro of the tower really well in this dive. I Play You Listen also maximizing the amount of health he can burn here to the tower, and Terraforming also holding the tower aggro for Avers to find this kill later on. Really great.
Definitely so, and Dragon now as we tune back into the live game, and a Silver Phoenix, not a lot of HP bars on their side to be playing around with, as they're going to be the ones who secure off this drake. That's going to be the second drake of the game for NLAN, and Lord Lighty does need to make a run for Dale's Allegation, getting very low, does need to be careful as well. Leandri is ticking down, but not going to be ticking enough, as Avers could potentially look for Venom here. If Venom does step up a little bit too far, but he's going to think better of it, and it's going to be NLAN who have 2 drakes into this game, and they are the ones who have the drake stacking on their side, and the fighting just does not stop.
As they do get the Drake, despite it being a
My.
at Demo just
I
solo
respect
kills Karma.
Call
A
for
good ulti coming out of the Ornn, but Terraforming just flashing away from the Cataclysm, as Ornn is looking onto the Talia, who also has to flash away.
very
As
good
they
play.
get some summoners, the SPX squad, which obviously both Galio and Jarvan benefits a lot from in a potential coming fight.
Yeah, definitely some good plays coming through all around. Aver is now looking for a solo kill on the bot side, but Allegacia should just be able to walk away. No Fury gonna be gathered there for Avers, which means that she gets to walk on out. And Allegacia did get half HP, did get chunked quite a bit. And Mountain Drake, or Mountain Soul, sorry, is gonna be coming through, which could be pretty big for the likes of Avers, and for the likes of I Play You Listen, gonna be going very tanky on that Poppy as well, despite having the Divine Sender, which we do see tend to be a little bit more meta and staple nowadays on the Poppy, but he should be going full tank after that, and this is a game that has offered us so much, and there's so much more to go, but NLAN has reaped most of those benefits, being up by 6,000 gold.
As Kimmich Mental now being open to trade against the Renekton, but Lord Lighty will just move down and secure this tower with him, with the Renekton. And we can finally see why Ornn is a pretty good pick into Renekton, despite Renekton having some edge in the early game, but once the Ornn gets his Bramble Vest and gets the Sunfire up, he's able to contest his lane. As we're looking at some decent trading coming out here from Tatsugiri, dodging out of the Everfrost from Demo. As Demo is well, sitting in the side lane, which isn't necessarily what Galio wants to do unless they're playing towards him, as Waynham finds a good ulti onto Lord Lighty, but Lord Lighty flashes away and Terraforming uses the cooling here to try to find the play, as Lord Lighty is really close to find the kill onto Allegatia.
If you replace the ruby crystal in Lord Lighty's inventory with an amplifying tome, that kills. I'm pretty sure, but he would also be dead without the ruby crystal. So you got both sides of the coin, and we do see a good play coming up from both teams there, and some very creative, I want to say, actions so far. And I do want to just quickly point out, I only saw this now, but look how similar both Shanks' and DMO's icons, like for their ultimates, look on the sidebar. They're both extremely yellow and extremely bright, which I just kind of find a little bit funny. But with this Rift Herald being now summoned and being in the hands of I Play You Listen should be an easy pickup for them. And where do you expect this Rift Herald to go over to?
I mean, I would expect them to just try to get the mid tower, but obviously if that's not possible and they are just stronger on side lanes, just getting the goal to probably the Talia would make the most sense in this case. Just trying to snowball her lead onto Demo, making this lane even more painful for the Galio to play in, would be my prime target here. So I Play You Listen is a bit caught out here, has to flash out, but Lord Lighty with no flash from the previous play might be caught out as well as he tries to help out his jungler. Terraforming now, stepping up to the Jarvan, as he will just be able to walk away. Kimmich Mental also covering for the tower, whilst the team finds a pretty decent proactive play onto I Play You Listen.
Definitely so, but with this dragon coming up very soon in 15 seconds, this is definitely gonna shake up things because this is a dragon that NLAN are looking to secure wholeheartedly and with everything that they have. This is soul point for them, which is gonna just speed up the pace of the game for them so much. If they don't get it, that's another extra 5 minutes that you're gonna have to wait. And with them being the team that's ahead in gold, they really do not want to be the guys who are sitting around waiting. They want to push their lead. They want to pace this game and have a very quick pace to it. To which one is looking for not appear like to be looking for a little bit too aggressive off a play by the side of the end and trying to make their way over that the total for Jeff. If you're hitting onto two people, I Play You Listen is gonna be the first one to call Lord Lighty. It's gonna be the target. Up next is gonna be a good mantra Q coming through for Lord Lighty, but the chase is still on shutdown in the top lane. Meanwhile, Avers is gonna look for the very nominous stuff at top. That's gonna be the first time Blade Core coming through doing so much damage. Terraforming is here though, full mana, full health bar, everything to work for with this Lucian. No culling though quite yet, and Luke's looking for some damage, but not gonna be coming through quite yet. As in the top side, it is gonna be Galio just solo bolo pushing that on in, but what a fight.
Yeah, Jarvan and Galio finding a decent combination to find the Talia on the side lane, whilst the rest of the SPX squad is able to find the pick here on bot side. Obviously, great plays coming in from SPX and much needed ones.
Yeah, definitely so, and so far Silver Phoenix doing a great job of trying their best to come back into this game, and Avers is just putting on such a good show. Just it feels like Avers just knows like his limits on the Renekton, always baiting the side of Silver Phoenix in, but we do see now they are looking for the third dragon of the game. Would be soul point for them if they can get it. Shanks now on the aggressive path, looking his way forward, does get stunned up against the wall, but I Play You Listen does need to be careful because he does have a lot of, not many members behind him at the moment. Avers on the flank dragon, reset back to full HP. Avers now in the middle of so many people. Mental does not have the Call of the Forge God quite yet. No Feather Sword for Allegacia as well. These are huge cooldowns down for the side of Silver Phoenix, but that just get chunked out by the culling there. huge damage coming out of Terraforming there. Dragon 3000, 2000 so far should be secured by the side of N, and they are going to look like that. What can Shanks do in this backline? He can do nothing but fall as he just ties General DMO now in the backline as well, but no one around him. I Play You Listen is just going to be finding himself in the middle of 3 General DMO, having to flash away to keep himself alive. Allegation now, no Featherstone for him, does need to be careful down towards his boss side. I Play You Listen is going to be looking for the kill, but not going to find Avers. No Dominus available, nothing for this Dragon to do. He's not going to double dash, it's just going to find Desire there as well, and Avers is going to trade his life for it. Not sure if that's worth it. The shutdown coming through over to lane, and the Seraphine is going to be big after that pick up in Terraforming, making a run for the hills now. Only survival member of the side, on the side of NLAN squad after that big fight, but NLAN are the ones who secure this dragon, and they are the team that are on soul point.
As the Seraphine and Orange slowly but surely becoming critical key champions for SPX to play around. Not necessarily the easiest fight to take, as Talia and Illusion with the culling and Karma with the Mantra Q also just being able to keep them off, as Terraforming is looking onto Kimmich Mental. He is tanky, but is he tanky enough, as Terraforming will just find the kill in the mid lane. Lord Lighty expanding his flash though, which isn't necessarily the most important summoner in this game, but definitely a bit over high fee coming out of Lord Lighty.
Definitely.
Gets low.
Oh, Allegation getting a little bit choked there by the culling coming out from Terraforming, and Baron being up as well. Lord Lighty has no flash to his name. He's going to be stuck in the Cataclysm with no one around to help out the support. General DMO is going to smack him on down with the passive, going to pick up the kill as well. And Baron is going to be the target that is big now for both of these teams. The Purple Worm that both of these teams want so wholeheartedly to collect. 3 minutes up until the next dragon, which is plenty of time for both of these teams to play around.
As Allegatia and Kimmich Mental looking to defend this bot tower as it almost goes down, but with the side lane pressure of NLAN,
2
they're
HP.
able to get to the top side turret, with Galio having to back off, respecting the Poppy potentially being in their jungle.
Oh, that is so unlucky for Avers there. Just that is a mad difference of 600 gold right there. And just out of interest, if we can quickly take a look at the gold, that would have pulled him to like 1,400, which is quite a sizable gold difference to be going back to base with compared to what he has now, only 800 to his name. And just taking a look at the gold overall, Terraforming being up by 2,000 gold lead as well in the mid lane, and this top lane as well spiraling out of control for the side of NLAN. And it does seem like the gold lead is pretty even all around the place. In the series earlier today, we saw sort of the gold lead being normally in one place at a time, but this time it seems like the entire NLAN squad seems to be contributing.
As gold is mostly relative to game time, with Ornn being in the game, with his ornaments being worth a lot of gold, though NLAN absolutely on a bit of a timer here, as SPX, you could say, is becoming more and more favored in a straight up 5v5 scenario, and will just start the Baron, which they have set up vision for, and will be difficult for Shanks to just get into, as Waynham is channeling his back. They're not sussing this Baron out, as Ornn will move up as well, but there's no contest coming out here from SPX, as NLAN will secure a really important objective for them before going into this next dragon fight.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. That is the big word that you brought up there, Zench. This dragon spawning up in 40 seconds is the big pickup for both of these teams, and this Baron buff just helps you pressure those lanes so much more. But Avers, you need to be a little bit careful on the spot lane, buddy, because there's a lot of boys coming over, and though those colors are blue, all of those colors belong to silver. Phoenix of Avers is going to be stuck in a 1v4 Dominus, but it's not going to get you out of this one. Neither is the Flash. Cataclysm comes through TP as well, expending so much for a bot lane play that is never going to work out for the side of NLAN, and Avers does get picked up Domo. The general DMO is around as well with that ultimate hanging out of vision to give himself the surprise. The 5 forward as well. Tatsugiri is not going to be hit by the toll. That is a beautiful ultimate there by the Poppy. But the ultimate of Galio as well coming through there now. Culling doing so much damage onto Kimmich Mental. General DMO really target up here. Encore hits 2. Good cleanse there coming up to Arformi to deny him that charm there. General DMO steps forward, is going to sacrifice himself to keep the rest of the team alive. But is it going to be enough? Shanks really beat Kimmich Mental as well. Very low on HP. It's not going to be enough. The entire side of Silver Phoenix falls, and that is going to be a mountain soul secured for the side of N and potential in Hip Tower and potentially winning the game after that one single fight.
Yeah, as Avers finally gets his revenge on the tower that he so badly wanted to fall. As the side of NLAN catching SPX out on a really good fight for them, where Seraphine and uh, or was it the Jarvan and Ornn had already expended their ultis onto the Renekton, and with summoners and crucial spells being burnt early, NLAN has just a field day with the squad of SPX being so far ahead with the standing members.
Definitely so, and it is Enlan who are up by 10,000 gold, which is a sizable chunk, to say the least. And most of that lead is in the top lane and in the mid lane. And looking at actually all the lanes on the side of Enlan, everyone is either what exactly one item or above ahead of their laner counterpart, and that is a big deficit to come back from. We have seen some good play out of Silver Phoenix. They are certainly not willing to go down without a fight and have been fighting back ever since the game began. Lord Light is going to pick up the Gromp there. I do believe I saw the goal calling him. Colin does so much damage to Shang's Terraform. He should be able to dash forward, pick up the kill, but he's going to opt out and think better of it now. The pinch could potentially come through. I play Euless and he's going to hex flash over that wall, but it's going to get stopped by General Demo. The Galio is there to protect and serve, and this time he protects his jungler and keeps Shanks alive. Weaver's wall up towards the top lane. Kimmich Mental is going to be knocked back again, and Kimmich Mental there's nowhere to go on this orange. So much CC coming to another pick for the side of Enna. Now Shanks is gonna get chunked once again. The tower is still behind him. Encore is big. It's gonna hit 3 people. General DMO now. Everyone is attacking the characters in this group. He should got the battle point. Allegation is gone out of the fight. They cannot capitalize on it. Featherstorm cannot be used, and that is huge coming out of I Play You Listen. It is such a big play. Enna now pushing into the base of Silver Phoenix. Inhib should fall. Allegation does still have the Featherstorm that I mentioned earlier to his usage if he does want to get it out. Avers, no damage before him. It's gonna be Banen who falls down next. Now, can they look for the aim? Can they look for the one next to tower? He's gonna be falling. Banem says GG's. He's not even gonna wait around. The entire side of Silver Phoenix is just gone. They've had enough. They want to call it a day, as NLAN is gonna be pushing in, gonna be taking the Nexus towers, going to be taking the Nexus, as nothing but Shanks and Kimmich can do but slowly watch their team leave the game, as they have had enough.
Yeah, the bot lane of SPX there just staring down their the top side of NLAN, just being miles ahead of their own, as this game will once again go over to NLAN with a bit of confusing, but I guess effective early game from NLAN. Creative pathing coming out from I Play, You Listen, and yeah, just confusing Shanks on what he was supposed to do here in the early game.
Definitely so, and this does mean that NLAN is gonna be the winners this time around, do end up taking this game 2-0, which does put them on the standings as 4-4 at the moment, bringing themselves back into that middle pack team. But the week is still underway and there are still a couple of games to be played. So we'll have to see if any team catches up to them or whether it's going to be them moving up on in the standings. But definitely a good couple of games for them picked up today. And what to you felt like made the difference between this game today? Do you think it was just better overall team play out of NLAN, or what do you think was the difference maker?
To me, it didn't really seem like SPX was on page with each other. Wayne M also subbing in for Dopavity whilst he was individually performing pretty well besides like Alagacia, who also had a decent series. Um, Seemed to be possibly signalizing that Topavity is a massive voice for this team to function holistically. And NLAN coming in with their full squad looking a lot more cohesive. Whilst there were mistakes from both sides, NLAN was able to capitalize on SPX's mistakes way harder than their counterpart was yeah, the other way around. So, and then there's also the part of the game one where NLAN gets a really clean game, in my opinion. So looking a lot stronger than what we've previously seen from the team. But though SPX with a height of going 1-1 against Young, I would love to see a bit more cohesive game plan coming out from a team who's been able to play at a higher level before.
Yeah, definitely. So that's what stood out to me, just the overall team play and the way that NLAN played together as a unit felt so much more put together, so much more cohesive, like the word you used yourself on their side. And Silver Phoenix just not showing up on the day. Definitely, have we seen a better performance from them? We've seen a worse performance from them. So definitely just being one of those days where they need to go back on the drawing board, think of another strategy to come up with if they do end up or when they do end up going up against NLAN once again. But that is going to wrap us up for today. And a little bit of a recap. Blazing Pandas versus Interstellar earlier today ended up in a 1-1 between those two teams. Silver Phoenix versus NLAN. NLAN 2-0 win for them against Silver Phoenix. And with that being the last series and the last game of the day, I wish everybody a very good night, a very good day, depending on where you're watching this from. And there will be more games still to come, so definitely keep an eye on the Discord and make sure to join the Discord if you're not already there. We do announce any upcoming games there, and make sure you have yourselves a wonderful time.